What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we are reacting to Who is the Man with the Egg in Deltarune. This was suggested by Reaper, and I have to say I believe it's something related to Gaster. Either way, whether it be one of his followers or him himself, I don't know, but it has to relate with Gaster no matter what. So, let's get on with the video, shall we? Remember, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when a new video comes out. Otherwise, you won't be alerted when a new video comes out until, you get it from your recommendations and all that. Yeah, don't want to have to deal with that. Leave a comment if you have any videos that you want me to react to in the comment section down below. And the link to this video will be down in the description down below. So if you want to see this original video uninterrupted and see it yourself on replay to come up with your own theories and such, go ahead and hit the link down below and give support to the creator of the video. For making the video that was reacted to. Guess I deserve some love and support as well. So with that said, let's start the video, shall we?
Just gonna pull this egg script out for the next video. Wait, I thought I only wrote one of these? Oh dear God. Before we get started, spoilers for Undertale and Deltarune. Don't hassle people for using text-to-speech, and be nice to your fellow theorists when you disagree in the comments. That wasn't a joke. I've been trying to write this script since December, but every time I try to touch it, it just keeps spiraling further and further out of control. Because seriously, what is going on with this egg? Can you drop it? Can you eat it? Can you kill it? Well, first things first. To get the egg in Chapter 1, the players must walk back and forth in this loading zone to the right of the Star Walker's Bell. Every time you re-enter this room, there's a 1 in 50 chance you will warp into the room in between. Unless you've already been there, in which case, you may be out of luck, unless you know how to reset the flag in your save file. It's this line right here, by the way. Line 1227 corresponds with flag 910, which you should set to 0 if you messed up and need to get the egg. Anyway, once you reach this room, talk to the man behind the tree, and tell him that he is happy to see you, to receive the egg. What can you do with the egg? Well, remember how Asgore is kind of, facing eviction and apparently starvation? If you put the egg in his fridge, it will multiply, and nobody really knows why. The current running theory is that this is some kind of quantum egg, as even if you throw the egg away it still ends up in the fridge somehow, but now there's only one of them? Wait a second, why does this part happen even if you never met the man with the egg? Is this a programming error, or intentional? This gets
Yeah, that's the strange thing about the egg. It's just a big mystery that just eludes many people, if I'm correct. And the way it behaves is kind of bizarre.
even weirder in Chapter 2, because throwing the egg away here actually doesn't cause it to get removed from your Dark World inventory, meaning you could throw the egg away in the Light World, head back to the Dark World, and your egg will return to you like you never dropped it in the first place. So technically you can keep throwing away this egg again and again, forever. Is this an obscure glitch, too low priority for Toby to patch? Or is it a reference to the pumpkin in Homestuck, which disappears and reappears seemingly at random in nearly every one of Hussey's webcomics? You be the judge. Actually, secretly, I like to imagine it's a reference to Where's an Egg from HomestarRunner.com since, you know, Toby already referenced Homestar Runner with sweet cap'n cakes. Anyway, since you
Oh.
can keep dropping the egg like this, you might think that this egg is indestructible, and thus you have nothing to worry about. But there is still a way to lose this egg. When you use a Sans Cone Beanie, you can put the egg in this basket of eggs here, prompting Susie to ask if you just reverse stole an egg. But Toby seems to have messed up when he set the hitbox for this interaction, because if you interact with the bell, it can put the egg in the basket while skipping Susie's dialogue, which is probably a mistake. Unless Toby is trying to punish players for antagonizing Sans. That or he's maybe making a call back to the bell near the first egg. I honestly don't know. You can also lose the egg by examining this snack stand here. And, alright, hold up, can I just talk about this snack stand for a second because this drives me
Huh.
nuts. With or without the egg, interacting with this snack stand prompts Susie to say, see, jerky is candy, almost like she's referencing an argument she had about it. But Susie never mentioned jerky to Chris, so why the hell is she saying this? Well, way back in Chapter 1, there was originally going to be a tree in this room, with the following cut dialogue.
It's a candy tree. All the ripe candy has been picked.
Let's not take any more, Chris. Unripe candy is sour.
What? Sour, sweet, meaty, bitter? If it's candy, it's good.
Well, that's accepting of you. Wait, meaty? What kind of candy is meaty?
You know, whatever it's called, jerky.
That's not candy.
Then why is it next to it in the store?
So it seems like this conversation in Chapter
That's weird. Why would it reference something that I don't think is there anymore? Because I don't remember that tree being in that exact location. Or maybe it was, and I just forgot.
2 is referencing a conversation that was cut from the game, probably because putting a tree here breaks the pathfinding on this enemy. Is this snack stand breaking the egg secretly part of Toby's elaborate inside joke regarding the egg's weird glitchy nature? Or is it purely a coincidence based on random happenstance? The coding itself seems to imply it's just a bug related to the unbound x coordinates and slightly overlapping y coordinates. But people have been submitting bug reports since Chapter 2 first dropped, and as of the time of this video, it still hasn't been fixed. Why would Toby leave this in? Unless the bug reports are getting overlooked because the egg already has such unusual behavior. If this happens to you, by the way, you can fix this by opening your save file, heading to line 992 which codes for global flag 439, and setting that to 0, and then plugging your save file into Spampton's save editor to get the egg back. But, is it worth the trouble? I mean, the egg itself seems to be a reference to an Easter egg, right? The description even says it's not too important, and indeed, people have been debating the significance of this egg for years. The room in between is pretty easy to miss, and seems to have a lot of the hallmarks of a secret optional room, similar to the Star Walker, found nearby. On the other hand, the game also says the egg is not unimportant, and has a lot more hints and references to it in Chapter 2, including this graffiti, which explicitly tells you how to find it. An updated script for Tem, which lets you track how many you've found, and a special bit of bonus text here should you find the egg in Chapter 1. Toby also locked the egg off from the Snowgrave route, something he did not do for any of the fun events in Undertale, as even when the player was on a genocide run, they could still encounter things like the Gaster events and the wrong number song. Why lock off the egg from the Snowgrave route if it's not important? For a while now, the thing that's had me the most on edge regarding the egg has been this line here with Lancer, where he says that you won't make it through your teen years without at least one egg. Why include this warning and all these extra hints if the egg isn't important? Then again, this line of dialogue is very easy to miss, and on further examination, it's also a reference to Earthbound. As in Earthbound, there's an NPC who offers to sell the player eggs, and, should the player refuse, he has the exact same line of dialogue, warning us that we won't make it through our teen years without at least one egg.
That seems strange. That's Unbound, Earthbound. One of those two names. Didn't Toby actually make a thing for that one, if I'm correct? Yeah, I think he did. Why the connection? What is that connection? I do not know the connection.
Does the fact that this is a reference invalidate the warning? After all, there are plenty of other cases in which Toby references another game as part of a serious plot beat, but Nobody Came being one of the more unsettling Earthbound examples. In general, both of Toby's games reference eggs quite a lot, especially in connection to responsibility. In Chapter 2, if you arrive here with no eggs, the flavor text says, loose eggs. It's too much responsibility for an egg. In Tem Village, Tem associates raising the egg with parenthood and laments that she can't leave the underground, even after the barrier is broken, because she has to stay and watch the egg. In a neutral route, Spanton says,
Chris, think! What are my eggs gonna do?
and compares himself to being a family man by saying,
I've always been a man of the papers. A real papers person.
or, wait, are pipis eggs or clams? The in-game check says they're clams, but the code and Toby keep referring to them as eggs. Also, there's the quiche, known as a egg pie. I really don't want to open up the door to reading deeply into every single food item that contains an egg, though. All that said, I think by far the most common theory I see regarding the egg relates to its apparent ties to Gaster. The way you find the egg is very reminiscent of the fun events in Undertale. You know, walking back and forth in a specific loading zone until you randomly teleport into said event room. The narration also refuses to describe this mystery man, or even to speak his name, possibly referencing the way the game crashes if you try to type Gaster into the name select. There's also the egg in the unused favorite food prompt for the survey segment near the beginning, and the reference to the man, and the tree in Undertale's True Lab. But to be honest, it's hard to find any direct links between Gaster and this man. Aside from the name, the room in between, which seems to be a pretty literal reference to this room in Waterfall.
Yeah, makes sense. Why did we? Oh wait, they're actually named the room in between. Yeah, I can see it now. Just what does Gaster have planned?
Despite Gaster's tendency to creep into literally every Deltarune theory, there are a lot of opportunities to call back to him that go by the wayside regarding the egg. The song here doesn't contain Gaster's theme or the entry 17 sounds, an extremely rare occurrence given Gaster's infamy for sneaking his motif into literally every song. Despite being named a man, none of the files take this opportunity to refer to this character as him, nor are any of the related variables or percentages ever set to the number 6, despite there being ample opportunity to do so. And this is what has been holding up the video, because for months now, I've been waiting for something to clear this up, because surely with all these new hints and references, there's got to be something more to this egg. But if it's not Gaster, who is this? Who is the man behind the tree? So here I have dwelled, quietly compiling every instance of every egg in both games, but I seem to hit a dead end. Until one magical day, when Toby released a skirt. Can we just take a minute here to appreciate Toby blowing our minds with the most mundane sounding pieces of merchandise?
Huh.
Like, first the stickers, now a skirt. This skirt isn't even Deltarune merch, it's just an Undertale skirt, which seems to be a mishmash of the ruins and waterfall, as it features Waterfall's echo flowers, bloom.
That's curious. You kind of figure go Undertale stuff, not Deltarune.
Flowers and the red trees we see in the ruins seems straightforward enough, except, Toby, why is Papyrus hiding behind a red tree? And that blue egg, is that a pipis? Wait, maybe it's a firefly? Oh geez. Okay, let's start with the obvious question. Do we have anything tying Papyrus to eggs? Yes, we do. When we date him and open up the dating hub, one of the items on the display is an egg. Now, you might think that doesn't prove anything. After all, Susie has an egg in her room, and Temmie has an egg in the classroom, and in Tem Village, so isn't it more likely that Tem gave us the egg? Or hell, why not Spamton? He produces eggs more quickly than a queen bee. And that's true. But here's the thing. Our egg doesn't look like these. Our egg is a normal white chicken egg. We know this because when we put it in the basket of eggs, Susie doesn't say something like, "Where the hell did you get that?" She's just confused as to why we would put another egg here. It must look similar to the other eggs in the basket. This is the only other egg that matches that description. Also, Tem does
Huh.
not use he or him pronouns, so she can't be the man behind the tree. Okay, you might say, but isn't Papyrus's favorite food spaghetti? Why in the world is he giving us eggs? Well, no. Actually, it turns out Papyrus only makes us spaghetti in Undertale because Undyne gave him those cooking lessons, and the people around him were so supportive of his new hobby that he assumed people just loved spaghetti and kept making it for everyone. But
Ah.
Deltarune is a different universe, in which the personalities of characters remain roughly the same, but the circumstances of their lives turned out different. So, in this universe, Papyrus actually probably never learned to make spaghetti, because the circumstances that led him to that decision, namely wanting to join the royal guard, and Undyne wanting to protect him from the dangers of serving, no longer apply. Perhaps Papyrus still wants to give people food-related presents, but being unable to cook, he chose a different...
No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, I can see where he's going with this, but I don't see how that's completely possible. It's just so like Papyrus, but it just leaves a bit of doubt because it doesn't sound like something Papyrus would do, even if his personality was a bit different. I don't see how it would be possible.
gift that doesn't require any culinary skills, but does still have some connection to his real favorite food, oatmeal with dinosaur eggs. Alright, but why the tree? Aren't red trees Toriel's thing? Sort of. In the ruins, there is a tree in front of Toriel's house, which seems to symbolize Toriel's inability to keep her children with her. As it reads, every time this old tree grows any leaves, they fall right off. Toriel's theme of loneliness does seem to be carrying over into Deltarune, but as a motif, this would actually work for Papyrus too, as in both games, it's stated that, although he tries very hard, he doesn't seem to be able to hold on to any friends. There is also a precedent for Papyrus hiding things behind trees, as should you fail this puzzle in Snowdin, and beg Papyrus for a hint, he'll inform you that he hid a switch behind a tree here. It's also possible that he's the one who hid Alphys's cameras here, but that's pretty much just speculation. Which finally brings me to this car. Yes, I'm serious. For Papyrus, a car is actually of great symbolic note, as in Undertale, the car is the symbol of freedom for Papyrus. Examining his car-themed bed prompts Papyrus to describe his hopes of one day driving a car down a lone highway, before relenting that it's just a dream, and so now he snoozes while he cruises. The fact that he describes it as his dream is very interesting indeed, given the great symbolic importance Undertale, and especially Deltarune, place on dreams. The Dark World itself is actually compared to a dream multiple times, especially on repeat playthroughs, where you can literally warp into the Dark World by taking a nap in the bed at the start of each chapter. Actually, wait a second. In the true pacifist credits. Is that a Kungadero? Wait. Hold up. Is that why Spamton became a car salesman? That would line up with Papyrus's interests, wouldn't it? And this would explain how the knight might have obtained the keys to lock us in the first Dark World.
I mean, I can see it, but that would just like leave so many questions. Because that would mean that Papyrus would have to leave the house, people would have to notice him going through the whole town, and enter a school where people can notice him. So, forgive me for being skeptical, but I highly doubt that's going to be remotely true.
You know, since his brother
That
is
he's
currently
the
a
one
janitor.
pulling
And it would
strings.
explain why Sans needed someone to hang out with Papyrus to keep him out of trouble. And it would explain why our hangout with him had to be cancelled if he's running around doing God knows what in the dark world. You know, when I said I wanted to talk about the egg, I did not expect it to become a Papyrus as the night theory video. But I can't deny there's a lot of little allusions to this being the case. I've mentioned his potential connections to Gaster, and how his motives might align with this game's theme of loneliness and his own desire to make friends. But, if we want to dig really deep, there's also the super secret Undertale Christmas alarm clock app, which seems to have a lot of foreshadowing for Deltarune, including Toriel getting drunk on eggnog, Asgore foreshadowing the potential death of Rudy, and several other things you might find very, very interesting. But what catches my eye is this segment here, where Papyrus discusses cleaning up the after party and laments that he has to pick up all these empty bottles, confetti, broken eggs, spears on the floor. Wait, what was that last one? The spears? No, the eggs. What eggs? Out. Anyway, while he's cleaning, he mentions that he wants to wake up Sans, but he's reluctant to do so because Sans seems happy. Papyrus then says that he thinks Sans was happy to celebrate the holidays with so many friends, and that he can't remember when the last time he was able to do that was. This really seems to tie into Sans's cryptic statements about being unable to go back and never seeing them again, which really seems to tie into Sans and Papyrus allegedly being from Deltarune, since they apparently just showed up one day out of nowhere. Wait. Then, does that make the badge in Sans's workshop Asgore's old police badge? Anyway, it seems like having so many friends around again is giving Sans nice dreams, so Papyrus decides not to wake him up, stating that his dream was his gift to him. In the self-contained context of this phone app, that's a super adorable statement. In the wider context of Deltarune, where dark worlds are likened to dreams in which you can live out your wildest fantasies, that's a little bit concerning. It's not the only
Your dreams, huh? Then wouldn't that mean that, that the cyber world was someone's dream? I wonder who dreamed it up. That's the question.
only allusion to Papyrus potentially creating dark worlds either, as at the beginning of the party, Papyrus makes a huge labyrinth out of snow to baffle and confuse his friends with holiday cheer. Metaton calls this labyrinth the Mind Maze. That's also a fair way to describe a dark world. They do have a sort of Persona Mind Palace vibe, expanding and twisting the geometry of the space they occupy, and reflecting pieces of the Lightner's memories and perceptions through the characters and items. And once again, there's also the fact that you can enter the dark world by sleeping in the bed, and the fact that the characters seem to experience the closing of a dark fountain as being like waking from a dream, as all three verbal characters so far have dialogue alluding to this sentiment. This could all be a red herring, of course, but I have to say, the timing with which this merch drop does align pretty nicely with the anniversary of the Papyrus is the Night Theory, and I find that coincidence to be very, very interesting. Well, I doubt we'll get any more information on this until the other chapters drop, so no use wondering about, why did all the eggs just turn blue? Oh jeez. Oh wow, okay, so Toby just dropped a ton of info on us, in the form of this weird and terrifying Spamton charity ARG, and, listen, there's a lot to cover here,
And we're going back to the sweepstakes every time. We always get brought back here. How repetitive.
let's talk about the parts that apply.
But it does have a ton of lore.
First, the snow dome. Could this be yet another hint about Papyrus? It does say it's of a skeleton. What's that? It's actually a Nightmare Before Christmas snow globe? Well, that's fair, but you know, the game has already likened December holiday's name to Christmas, and the Nightmare Before December holiday would be the kind of crazy big brain foreshadowing puns that have become pretty on brand for Toby. It also says the snow globe itself will be modified in some way, so we may want to keep an eye on that to see if the winner has some epic new clues in store for us. But we're here to talk about eggs, so let's go ahead and take a crack at that. If you click on some of the prize links, you can find Noelle's blog, which
Okay.
contains several anecdotes from her childhood, including quite a few pertaining to the games Dragon Blazers and Cat Pedders. Cat Pedders is a pet raising simulator, which seems to draw inspiration from several different real-life games, possibly including Pets 5, Sonic Adventures Chow World, and 4, Pokemon. Although,
Okay.
I didn't ask Toby, okay? That's just speculation. Try not to treat it as fact. Nonetheless, she describes this game as having a deep animation and breeding system, which allows clever players to mod the game to create brand new non-cat animals, or even meme characters. However, apparently breeding modded creatures together can lead to some very strange and unsettling pets, or even cause the game to glitch out completely, which apparently scared Noelle quite badly. And, I have to admit, I can definitely relate. The game also apparently has a chance to randomly spawn rare eggs, and if you click the link near the bottom, Noelle tells us at the time the game gave her a special pure white egg, which seemingly did nothing except make a weird sound. Because she couldn't seem to hatch it or throw it away, she thought it must be haunted or corrupted. But even when she completely reinstalled the game, the egg lingered. After a while, she began just raising the egg as if it had already hatched, which caused it to leave home due to happiness. The idea of someone you love leaving because you tried too hard to make them happy does seem to be one of the recurring themes in Undertale and Deltarune.
Yeah.
To the man behind the tree. Although, if you need concrete proof of that, you can also reach this page by just typing deltarune.com/man. And, oh hey, what's that behind the tree? Bam! Link back to Noelle's egg story. But what's really interesting is the fact that she can't remember this egg's name. But why? Is it our mysterious friend in the Gunner code?
Yeah, that has to be Gaster. It just makes too much sense. And it wouldn't make sense if it was anyone else. I mean, can you imagine that it was actually someone else pulling all the strings and Gaster was the one in Sans house? Crazy.
Gaster? Spamton? Actually, before we get too carried away with the Noelle is Spamton swamp theory, Toby did actually address this directly in the Spamton Q&A, in which he says,
You think that is mine?
Mama, Uchi.
No! She's just the only one that ever read mine. That's why I gave her a
Little blue gift.
It was the world's first
Charity.
this seems to be a reference to the final blog.
Okay, first off, that was perfectly sound. That perfectly sounded like Spamton. That it was amazing. It's crazy.
Gantry, Blue Circle, in which Noelle confesses that she actually received emails in her spam box and tried plugging some of that garbage data into her game as a modded pet. The resulting pet was apparently a single, floating blue circle, heavily implied to be a pupus, and her description of it is very reminiscent of the bad egg from Pokemon, as it apparently had glitchy, bad stats, a low friendliness with most of her other pets, and a tendency to multiply out of control. This last part is almost certainly a direct reference to the bad egg, as they were pretty famous for their tendency to corrupt the Pokemon around them, in much the same way as the glitch, or missing no Pokemon from the first 2 generations, which I actually joked about a little in my Missing No video, which you should totally watch if you want me to make a video about bad eggs and Pokemon merge glitches. But, shish, no pressure. In Generation 2, you can actually use glitch Pokemon to corrupt one of your Pokemon eggs so hard, it happens to be otherwise unobtainable. Celebi. And did one of my Sneasels just try to turn into me? Oh wow, it has payday now. Oh wow, it even
What?
looks like a person. I wonder if I can breed it with a Ditto? Holy Congadero, it worked. I've never seen a glitch Pokemon actually produce eggs before. Do they hatch? Haha, yes, that's epic. I wonder what my egg group is. I think we may have to stop.
What
Anyway,
the...
what do you guys think? Is Papyrus the...
What kind of glitch is that? That is so creepy. Is that a legitimate thing? I hope not. Because that would be a nightmare to deal with. Oof.
man with the egg? Or do you think he's a vermilion herring and some other characters are filling those roles? What do you think is going on with the white egg raised by Noel? Is it the same egg we get from the man? Or did it finally hatch into some
Probably.
exciting future character? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Special thanks to Everwood for, once again, providing the voice of Spampton G. Spampton, and to Psycho Riot from Helena Handbasket for providing the voice of Susie. If you liked their voice work, you can check out more of their epic Let's Plays on their respective channels here. Thanks as well to Hilarity for providing the voice of Rouse, Space Car for all the help with the Chapter 2 egg glitch, and to Gibby for the awesome footage of their Chow Garden. Gibby's actually doing an epic Spampton live stream in December, so make sure to check that out. Thank you as well to all of my editors, patrons, and even just my casual viewers who, oh goodness, did we just jump up to 40k? Holy Congadero, thank you so much. Sorry if the channels seemed a bit hectic lately. Between fighting YouTube demonetization over my Let's Play, learning to coordinate a team, the sweepstakes, and the podcast, I've been spread a bit thinner than normal lately. But I'm super excited to cover all this fun new stuff, so thank you all for sticking with me. And until next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more hyperlink blocks.
Okay. This egg thing has become more and more interesting. So this whole egg thing is just really ambiguous. It just has so much about it that it's just hard to talk about in all honesty. At least in my personal opinion. Because it gives you some details, doesn't give you some details, it's crazy. But I don't think Papyrus is the one giving the eggs. Because that would mean that Papyrus would need to work with Gaster for that to work. And that just seems almost impossible to happen. Because how would that work? I'm just asking because I don't see how that could work at all. It just leaves too much to question, if anything else. I think it's something else a must. I missed? Yeah, missed. That's related to this. Because there's no way that Papyrus is involved in this whole thing. There's just no way that it's actually possible. Because, sure, he likes egg stuff, but there's no way he would give the eggs. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't buy it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when a new video comes out. If you have any video recommendations, leave it down in the comment section below, and I'll react to it as soon as possible. Or tell me what you think about this whole egg thing, because I don't believe that Papyrus is the one involved. The only one I can see getting involved is Gaster or one of his followers. Or if he has new followers, that's actually something I just considered. Yeah, he could have had new followers to do what he says, and they were probably giving out the eggs. Yeah, that's a possibility. So, yeah. Remember to check out the description down below to see the original video and all that. Other than that, I hope to see you all next time. Be sure to give some support to the original creators of the video that I reacted to. But yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye!